Greetings to all of humanity. It's really a joy, it's a pleasure. It's always my honor as usual to be greeting you and bringing to you this message of emancipation, whereby I'm pointing you to look inwardly to discover that your real identity is your divinity. And that is why I want to speak to you today on a very sensitive subject, which is the subject of interracial relationship or interracial marriage, okay, whichever way you want to put it. But this is how I really see it, and I'm giving you my honest opinion about it. Now, I look at nature to be one of our greatest teacher. And when I look at nature, I see the animals, and there are different kind of animals, yet they are all animals. The same thing with the plants, okay? And I realized that since I've been existing here on this earth, I've never seen a goat mate with a sheep, yet they're all animals and they all eat grass. I've never seen a cattle mate with a donkey, and they're all animals and they all eat grass. Okay, now, as we know, a donkey can mate with a horse and bring forth a mule, and that mule can never reproduce back anything. And when we look at the development of reproduction also, we see that every seed and every species always reproduce after its own kind. Therefore, when you cross breed something, it's hybrid. It's no longer the original. And even when men try to graft two plants, like say mango and orange, the limb of the orange will still bring forth orange, though it is grafted to a mango tree. And so, my brother and my sisters, as a people, we are to understand more about ourselves and to be more aware of who we exchange this sacred energy with, because sex is sacred energy exchange. Now, all of us, we have curiosity, and sometimes, you wonder what it would be like, to go with someone, different, especially men. We have fantasies and so on, okay? But at the end of the day, we have to grow up and understand that sex is sacred energy exchange, and we must understand certain simple laws that are right there in nature to teach us from polluting ourselves and polluting our seed, and getting involved in hybridization, because we are not a hybrid kind of people. We are a people that are more connected to nature. We are more of a simple kind of people, and we must be more aligned with nature and work according to nature. Now, there are many arguments that might come up concerning this subject, and many people might take it from different angle, but in my honest opinion, I see it as something that we should not get ourselves involved with. I see that we as black men, we have to learn to appreciate our black women, and wherever they need help, we must be strong enough to help them and to nurture them. The road might not be easy doing so, depends on their background or their upbringing, and the same thing with us also as the men, okay? So all of us have our situations and our problems to sort out, and we have to sort it out together. Now, when we look around, it seems to me that most of the time, a lot of very successful black men, they would not take a black woman for their wife. And I don't know if it's because they're afraid, of the challenges that they might have to face to deal with a very strong black woman. But we must stand and help our people together, because united we stand, but divided we would fall. Sometimes I would hear many black women say that, that they are independent because they have a degree or PhD or whatever, which is just basically just a piece of paper, and you've been, educated from a Eurocentric standpoint, I mean, that kind of education has been given to us and so on. But, true education comes from within. And that is why we have to go within to really come to understand who we are and why we need to protect our seed and protect our species or our race upon the face of this earth, and to not pollute it. I see it as polluting your race. Okay, I see it also as a disrespect to our mothers. Okay, because our mothers would have bring us forth, and we go and we're gonna choose someone who doesn't even look like our mother to bring, our children, okay, or someone who doesn't look like our father to bring our children here. So I'm totally against interracial relationship or interracial marriage. And we see how much the black man and the black woman being polluted through like the pornography industry, where they use interracial films, and they put it in a way that it's more money for those kind of interracial sexual acts. And we have to remove the scales from our eyes and stop being blind towards these things, and stop being afraid to speak about these things. Now, many of our people say that they believe in the Bible, and many of them interpret the Bible as literal and as secular history. But I interpret the Bible psychologically. But from whichever angle you look at it, you see throughout the Bible, especially in the New Testament, that there were many slaughter over trying to mix seed or crossing seed. Okay? And in the psychological way, I would say to you that you have to slaughter all of those thoughts that would come in your mind that would want you to exercise such a fantasy that would bring pollution and bring hybridization. Okay? So for those who look at it as literal and secular history, there's a lot of bloodshed. Even a priesthood was raised up because a man was willing to take a spear and push it through the belly of a woman to kill or destroy the seed that was within, that was going to cross up with Moab. That's when Israel was passing through Moab, okay? And there are other stories also of great slaughter when those from, I think was Shechem, okay, I think, and they polluted a daughter of Israel. If you're going to look at it literally, but if you look at it psychologically, as I would have said before, you got to destroy all of those thoughts. You got to destroy all of those concepts, all of those fantasies. Yes, we have wild fantasies. Okay, if we be honest, both men and women, we have wild fantasies. I would have heard a black woman say to me personally that, maybe she might have to try a white man because, the babies might be beautiful and so on. And that is to see sometimes how sometimes we can have, low self-esteem and inferiority complex about ourselves because of the pictures that we would have hold of ourselves and the influence of, say, the television and the media as a whole, okay, and what they're portraying to be beautiful and so on. And that is why I think it's very important for me to speak on this subject and to ask of our men and our women to uplift themselves and to, always feel free to speak on this subject from an honest standpoint, and always look at nature for guidance. Let nature guide you. Okay, it's not so much all of the intellect and the education that we sometimes tend to speak from, and how eloquent we are and so on. It's simple. Just look at nature. And when you look at nature, you just want to align yourself with nature. Okay, and that's why I'm totally against hybridization and hybriding my seed and crossing my seed. I want to keep the seed pure. Okay, so my brother and my sister, I want to say to you, many of our brothers and sisters who would have fought against slavery, it wasn't just to get away from the plantation system. It was to save our spirituality and our identity, and to keep our seed pure and so on. And that's why even today you can still see traces of our original spirituality throughout the diaspora. For example, in the Caribbean, you still have the spiritual Baptists. Other places you have the Yoruba, you have the Interracial, you have the Shango. You have all of these people in Haiti. There was those who practice voodoo and so on. We use voodoo, voodoo, whichever name you want to call it, to get rid of the oppressor who are oppressing our people. We use our spirituality, and we see today our people turn around and go against our own spirituality and call it evil and condemn it and believe it's only could use one way. But every science could use both ways, okay? Because there's only one power, and this power could be used in a destructive way and it could be used in a creative way. So voodoo could be used in a very creative and uplifting way, because it's basically being united with nature and so on. And so, my brother and my sisters, it's very, very important for me to really, give my opinion on this subject and what I really think of it. So it's never too late to do something. It's never too late to teach your children. Okay, so we have to teach our children how important it is to keep the seed pure, and how to stick with their race, stick with their species, and teach them the divine law of reproduction, that every seed and every species must reproduce after its own kind, and use it psychologically also to teach them how the mind really works and how they are to think about themselves. Teach them early what you learn late. Let me repeat that again. Teach them early what you learn late. You see, since I've come to this place of self-realization, I realize one thing that is lacking among us is parents who were not present to instill certain values in us. Okay, and in my case, when it is said to train up a child in the way that they should go, that in the future that they will not depart, many of our parents believe it means to train them to believe in a God or creator or savior outside of themselves, and they think, okay, teaching them that they're gonna come up and they're gonna become, good Christians, not knowing that's idolatry. That's not knowing that they're actually worshiping another race and believing in another race. That's why we are the only people on the face of the earth who has the same God, the same savior as the slave master. So the slave and the slave master are serving the same savior that looks like the slave master. No other race you will ever see that. Okay, it would be a shame and a disgrace for a Japanese woman or a Chinese woman to go with a black man. They would totally disregard them from their families. And we have to take a stance as a people, because if you do not stand for anything, you will just fall for nothing. Okay, fall for anything, I should say. Okay, but you have to stand up for something, and it is just as simple as I would have said before, as looking at nature. Okay, sometimes when you speak certain things, people think, hey, you're talking race again. No. There's some people who think that when you come to self-realization and you come to consciousness, that you're so positive and you're so righteous or something like that, that you mustn't speak on these kind of subjects and you mustn't highlight these kind of subjects. No, don't be fooled. Okay, you have to be real. Okay, why can't black people have their God as being black? Okay, That's why I always say to you, look in the mirror. And when you look in the mirror, who you going to behold? You're going to behold God in flesh. Okay? And whatever image you behold in flesh, that's what you're supposed to see, or how you're supposed to see yourself, because God is the entire universe, and you see the entire universe when you look around. I can't help but when I look around and I see nature, okay, everything reflects myself. Okay, I look at the earth, I look at the soil from which all food is being grown, and it looks just like my body, the color of my body. How can I deny that? And people who believe in secular Christianity, you're told that man was made from the dust of the earth. Therefore, if such a man did exist as people do believe, and that was the first man, then the first man have to look like me. He have to have this kind of complexion. Okay? The earth is not a bleached looking kind of, just look at the earth, you see. Okay? So, my brother, my sisters, I have to say all of these things, you know, to really get my point across. But the point I really want to get across to you is that we are not a people that practice hybridization. Our ancestors have never been practicing this kind of hybridization and the mixing of the seed and so on. Our people, our ancestors have all been mindful of that. So stop giving your sons and your daughters away to hybriding. Okay? And how are we going to do that? We have to speak to them, and we have to educate them. So as I said before, educate your children about keeping the seed pure. So with that being said, my brother and my sister, that's just my little 2 cents, okay, and just my opinion of interracial relationship and how I see it. So I want to say to you, if this is the very first time that you're listening to me and what I'm saying, it makes sense to you and it's really resonating with you and you haven't subscribed already, I'm encouraged you to subscribe, to like, to comment, and to share this video. Also, I would like to encourage you to follow me on Instagram at BlackMadGuru. And when it comes to commenting, I want to say to you, every comment that you make, it is very, very important for the algorithm, because we want to get this channel to grow and want to get this message to go all around the world. You know, by the end of this year, I should have at least more than 10,000 subscribers. But of course, I would need your help with it also. Okay, so we all have to walk along, okay, and support each other. Also, if you haven't checked out my Patreon, where I have the Inner Sun Science and Technology course, it's very simple and easy for everyone to understand. It's called the Inner Sun Science and Technology to create your reality consciously, or the Inner Sun Engineering to create your reality consciously. And I believe such a teaching is very much needed in this time where they want to black out the sun and they want to dim the sun, and all of this is happening after we've been given a SON to believe as the light of the world, and many of us are waking up to know that the SUN is actually the light of the world, and the Lord thy God is a sun, a SUN, and we have to be connected more with the solar system. Okay, it's a sun and a shield, and no good thing will he withhold from you. And the sun has never withhold any good thing from humanity, for the sun is what powers humanity. All of humanity, and give humanity its energy. Also, you're told that the sun, as in the SUN of righteousness, shall arise in you with healing in his wings. And that is why I'm bringing healing to all of humanity, because the sun has risen in me, that light in you. That's what I'm speaking about. So, my brother, my sisters, check it out. And also, if you'd like to support this work, we have a PayPal, and the link is down below. All of the information is down below. And also, you can check out my website, alanhansonwisdom.com, where I'm doing blogs. Okay, I think I would have had about maybe say 13 to 14 blogs, and I'm going to continue to write blogs, and I'll encourage you to support the website by reading the blogs and so on, and get the traffic going. So with all of that being said, my brother and my sister, I want to thank you very much, and I say peace, love you all, I'm out.